better sleep.
This
But
meeting is being recorded.
it was exhausting, but it was good. I'm slowly getting back to the groove. It's nice to reset for a new week. Um, have these meetings. It's good we have these meetings. On schedule, so things like cadence.
The session designs itself, which is all
Mm.
right. Here we go. Welcome, Jeff. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for the space since we're here together. I want to start with a drop-in just to kind of really begin the process. Ask, what are you grateful for today? Your name, your human design, location, what you do. That's always great to do, but I'll just start with name. José Caballero. I'm in Panama City. I'm a coach, facilitator. This is what am I grateful for today? As we start the process. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be here. I'm grateful for being of service to you. I'm grateful for being of service to my community. I'm very grateful for Maria Isabel for her kind of like support and love and understanding, and for communication improvements that we've made. I'm grateful for the trip, the journey that we took all together, at the beginning of or earlier this month. That was a really deep, profound experience and a very generous offering on your part for all of us to be able to partake on that journey. It was transformational. So it was like a transformational retreat, even though it was not necessarily planned as such, or it was just everyone was themselves, and that allowed for the whole trip and the journey to like manifest. And of course, the things afterwards, being tired, having to rest, reconnecting with our pets, and or the pets that were not wanting to come home afterwards, like Guarzo. Just tries to get him home. He finally got home. Yeah, I'm very grateful for that, and for this process, and for the privilege really of being able to share it. So with that, I pass it on to you.
Thank you. My name's Jeff Silva. I think my human design is TBD right now. I'm based in Brooklyn, New York. Creative director right now, kind of in the middle of, opening myself up to the world and the universe in terms of next steps. Super grateful for this session, and just double touching on what you mentioned. The last sort of 2 weeks was a great unexpected sort of trip that I'm super grateful for having the space with you both, meeting Made, reconnecting with you, Jose, and um and having this opportunity to do the my course section, which I think for me has been much needed, and it's something I've been wanting to do even outside of this. Just I've been working so much the last 25 years. I've been neglecting sort of who I am, right? And I feel like I just feel like the time right now for this is nothing less than sort of synchronistic and perfect. So super grateful for that. For having the time to do this, right? The next few months to prototype and to do this presentation like a pro. Can't explain how exciting that is. The more I think about it and talk about it, um, it's super rewarding. And the best way I like to explain it is a car that is finely tuned, right? That performs well, that has the spark plugs, like oil is changed, ready to like go, right? I feel like that. I feel like the potential of all of this is sort of, I journaled it this morning, is I'm able to flex all my and leverage all my spark plugs. So super grateful and exciting that we're starting off the week this way.
Amazing. Thank you. So we're doing my core. This has been done over and over again for the last 2 years. It's a version of core for people to discover themselves. Um, and but it's also it designs itself. The system designs itself because we're starting with these, but the objective of today for me is to talk you through each of these and then get your input and modulate or change anything to it. I know you've already given me some feedback about like what the roadmap is and what the list and how to get that activated. And that's a really powerful conversation, and we'll have the ability to begin to customize this for you. And then this becomes the next version for the next person, because I'm using basically each person as a learning experience to make this better. So the core one-on-one program, the My Core one-on-one program, first it was prototyped 4 years ago. The first prototype was 4 years ago here in Panama. When I arrived in Panama, I hosted a group of friends and we did My Core. We did the main exercises. And the one thing I noticed is that when you switch who is facilitating, their point of view of how they see you really makes a big impact. So this idea that we're doing it with each other is actually one of the main and most important things. This week, we're going to tailor the 12 weeks. So design your My Core journey together. Next week, it will be a better picture of you. And we're going to go through basically understanding and uncovering your deeper purpose. That's the main goal, using human design and using the FIDO, those two tools. The week after that, module 3, we're going to carve out your core attributes and define who, what, and how, the who, what, and how of your next identity. So this is really using identity tools that we use for brands, but in this case, it's for you, the brand called Jeff. The module 4 is your co-creators. This is based on the user experience process based on users. But the difference is that instead of calling them users or instead of calling them customers or all these different words that we use for that, we're going to identify your co-creators, because the theory and how My Core works and how Core itself works, the Core Discovery version, it's that we changed it to the fact that every single individual that you're defining here is also you. So your evolution and the evolution of those around you maps to the same hero's journey. And by identifying yours and who you are co-creating with, you identify yourself. I am you, you are me, as above, so below, a lot of different kind of parallels to our journeys collectively. And that's really essential to this process, because the one question we always have is like, wait, what are the tools and the things that we need to do ourselves? And this posits the question differently to who do we need to do it with in order for the ideas to manifest themselves. So your North Star, this exercise was created, with Lorraine Molina when she was looking for a new job. So I took freestyle, the idea of Ikigai, because I couldn't remember what the components were, made up some components, and then prioritized, and labeled what are the things that guide you, because you're multidimensional. You're not just design, your art, your fashion, your nature, your whatever the travel, whatever those components are, we define them so that you're not trying to look for the future or step into the future just with, oh, I got to work and make money. So the narrative pillars are based on also on what we do in marketing, which is, okay, based on all this, based on who you are, based on your co-creators and their needs, what are the things that you're actually really passionate about that you want to share? So my first narrative pillar is really this, is unmuting other people, is, basically helping others, open up to the world in this new way, because we're all now creators. The life visionscape is, and I can actually I should be showing these as we go. Let me adjust. So that's really like taking, it's not a stylescape, it's more, I call it a visionscape, because it includes, your statement, it includes your co-creators, and then images of what that actually looks like in action and what you want. This is one of the very important tools because basically, if we think about it from the point of view of what allows us to create reality is really being reminded. And as creatives, we see it right before we feel it. We have to see it. We have to see it. We will do a Pinterest board together and we'll work on these. And in this session and with you, it'd be great to evolve it, to also like see how we can make it better. What other tools can we incorporate? Your life design, this really begins then to look at the 12 life areas, love, which is important, friends, career, money, self-growth, spirituality. It just really allows for this multi-spectrum kind of definition of what those things are. And it basically, we prioritize inside each of those categories, like what are your top priorities, including community, including what you do for fun, including, health. Then it gets into the real nitty gritty, which is the roadmap. So the way that that the roadmap for me and maybe for you will be different, and this is maybe an opportunity that we can get to modify this one for you. For me, it was really about what are the daily rituals and the reminder of what it is that you're setting forward towards, right? For example, I have some of the key things in front of me here on my wall. And I think for this process, printing out our statement, printing out our co-creators, and then printing out kind of like what the key objectives are. One thing that I think we should include in this is objectives. So I'm gonna, instead of just it being rituals, okay, I'm gonna actionable 21-day roadmap. They say 21 days is what you need to create a habit, but I'd like to go corporate on this. How to create your space around your objectives, and create a 3-month roadmap together. So you know how in corporate you do the quarterly, objectives and KPIs. I want to borrow from that. We did it at EO, and then because you're also a corporate medicine, I think it would be, and that's the feedback you gave me. How do we make this into a bam, 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 bam?
Yeah.
So I'd like to make this one the kind of corp edition, and for a reason, because it actually really helped me when I was launching my business. It's helping me now. We're kind of doing a little bit of this as we do stuff together. The Book of Jeff is cool. This is actually
Love that.
an idea, and I'll show you some examples as we go through the process. But it's the idea of taking the my core process, putting it into Claude, and then really creating a small 5x6, 5x7 like booklet. Maybe the way that we'll do it differently here is that we will create it with AI, but then transfer it over to Figma so that we can do spreads. And then I don't know how we can do that or how we'll be able to do it, but the idea is that it's speaking to you. So when you have books in your house on the coffee table that are like what do you call them? Either you have a little Buddhist book and you have affirmations book, etc., or some interesting little philosophy book. This is yours. So this is based on all of your
Love
components,
that.
your desires, so that every day that you read it, you're actually like reading that and magnetizing what it is. The pre-launch preparation is we'll work together to kind of say, okay, what are we going to present to the community? And then the final thing, the graduation, is we do a Zoom call with everyone in the system community, and you get to present, who you are to them and the work you did here. That's kind
I
of like
love it. I love it. I love it. Quick thought. Just because this is exciting, and you just got me to think about, so this ritual roadmap, like we talked about the sort of accountability, right? This is great. Like the sort of designer goes to this. What next? Like how do we holistically pull together? One thought that came to mind is like, remember we talked about the sketchbook or a journal? There's that could be an amazing way,
yes.
right? Like we have a system like core book. So post this, there's a tangible day-to-day goal list that comes with this sort of package. Um, Amazing, right? So it connects the real with the virtual.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that I've been trying to figure out how every time I buy what do you call it? Those books that have your yearly calendar, I
Yeah,
hate them all. I hate them all because they're really poorly designed. You can go into a design boutique and find some really cool ones actually. And they're very cool ones, lots of very cool ones
yeah,
designed and sold on Instagram. Doing one for my core based on the process is a brilliant idea. And I think we can prototype it here. I think
yeah,
together
yeah,
we can prototype it and then immediately just print
of
it. I have
course.
it next to my computer and I can start printing it and using it for myself even. So one last thing, this process impacts me as much as it impacts my coaching clients, right?
Yep.
Uh, you're a coaching client.
Mhm.
You're also learning this so that we can actually coach
Yep.
others. But the idea is that I'm being affected by it equally. So
Yep.
if we go to, it's an hour and a half session. The drop-in is always slow, and meaning like we really ease into it. And it always accelerates that by the end, we actually really meet the objective of what we wanted to do that day. That ability to expand and contract time is simply from presence and simply from breathing and simply from practice. But I just want to highlight that so that we know the timeline and that we're going to end on time, either under time. Now we have an hour left. So that half hour that it just took to drop in to set the objectives. Is there anything here? So I love that My Core book. On the other exercises, you have any feedback? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, at at um at overview, I think it sounds great. I think my feedback will come in as we do it when we get more granular because I don't want to like prejudge the process, right? So and I don't know. I think the flow sounds amazing. Like the kind of looking at it internally for module one, like who you are, the essence, right? That's sort of like the why. I like the co-creators because it kind of gives you adjacencies. Um, I think it makes sense. I think as as we go through it, I will have feedback. I think in my head it's also like as just this is where my brain goes, right? It's just scale it. Like I think that's where a couple comments like the quick core came in mind because just being sensitive of like people's um urgency, right? I think that could be like low hanging fruit for this, right? Something quicker, but it could also feed into the full program, right? Like this could be a feeder, right, into like the bigger program, right? Because people, I don't know, for what reason can't afford it or unsure of it, they do the My Quick core. The question is how do we design the My Quick so it you could also like bump up to the My Core, the full My Core, right? If needed. Like if they find value in a quick core, potentially they might upgrade to the My Core is my point, right?
Yeah.
Um
I,
I think
you're saying that, and I'm taking immediate action, which is what are the real like important like
yeah.
exercises, and then I'm just highlighting them because we could do just these exercises and go straight to the launch. That's a 6 module version. Go to pre-launch and graduation.
Yeah.
Uh, that's actually a good thought. I mean, every narrative pillars, life visions, this visionscape, all of those things are great. But with these are the 4 exercises that we would have to do for this to be effective in
Yeah.
like starting you off, right? Because
Yeah, I love that.
sets you off in a direction.
It's like it goes back to the tiering strategy, right? Like, so I just looked at Tinder again. Like, I'm not on Tinder, but I looked at it. They have like they have silver or platinum, gold, like tiering, right? Like, so how do you tier this system so it it will you'll be able to get more people to sign on board, right? Because the my core might be too much for a certain person, but there might be a sweet spot. Like quick core might actually be the business model that works for more people in numbers,
Yeah.
right? Just because of the timing. And also something that came up while you're talking about this is like institutions, right? Like looking at like the the schools or graduates, like there could be an affiliate program with this with schools, AAGA, like there's a lot of ways we can leverage this to different.
Let's yeah, thank you. And I'm gonna allow for the conversation about the business models ideas to be part of it because we're all part of the community.
Yeah,
Um and I love that. I just tiered it into
cool.
like two tiers right here, and then there's a third tier, and that's a probably a very good kind of structuring. This is actually a very premium tier. The better picture of you and the human design reading and this is actually for me, it's been like one of the things that's been the most impactful. And we'll go into
Okay.
it next when we're doing it. But for this week, let's go into
Cool.
designing your journey. And this is going to be about the story. So I'm going to
Eh,
shut up and listen. We're trying to define the objective and the results that you want to get out of this,
mm,
the KPIs. But just really start your story. You know, you got laid off from Amazon.
yep.
You've been working like, you know, your ass off for 25 years. Like, talk to me about that, and let's make the objective together.
Okay.
What the way I do it
Yep.
is I will be taking notes down here in
Okay.
the speaker notes of this Google Slides while you're doing it, and then I'll begin taking them to the objective through synthesis using your. I already have Jeff's section, my core, and I already started looking at
Cool.
your human design. That gives me. By the way, in one of the, I read on TikTok that he didn't admit this, but he admitted it to Freud before he passed away. That Carl Jung actually did all his clients' charts before they
Oh,
came to
cool.
him. So he had all of their like he was using astrology but not admitting it. All right.
Oh,
Here we go. So tell me the story. I will mute myself and
yeah.
yeah, take
So
your time. There's no limit.
no. So I'll just start where we're at. So I think for me, like the last 25 years has been an amazing journey, right? I have worked for some sort of great organizations in sort of big corporate identity work from J&J to sort of venture startup and in between, right? Amazon being, I feel like also is an interesting in between. They're a large company, but they act like a startup, right? So I think the last 25 years has been amazing. It's been a great journey. I've learned a lot of chops in the design space. But you know, with the recent layoff at Amazon, I think it's gotten me to think a lot about what's the next phase of my life. I think it's the 25 years also reaching my 50th sort of year on this universe and this planet. It's really got me a lot, give me a lot of time to think about what's next, right? And I think as I've also thought about this Amazon, some of the things I've really missed, to me, like human connection is important, right? Like this notion of I need to work physically with people. Um, I work really well. I thrive. I also feel like I'm able to give a lot when I'm working people. For instance, you know, at Amazon, I worked a lot offline. My team was dispersed through London, Seattle, and New York, and China and India. Um, but where I felt like I was giving a lot and thriving was during my sort of photo shoots, video shoots, when I was in sort of in person creating, co-creating with other people, right? I was able to sort of as a lead creative director on photo shoots, you know, I was able to manage big teams, small teams, towards a vision, and I loved it, right? That was where I felt like there was this reciprocal dance, where I felt alive and so forth. So I think one of the answers as I move forward is sort of how I tap into an opportunity where I'm able to work with people in sort of real life, right? Not to say that I can't I'm not going to work sort of anything digitally. Obviously, that's a given. But this sort of notion where I'm not working alone. I've realized that working alone is not for me, right? I need to work with another creative, another person. And that description of creative is really important, right? Um, I can work with business people. I have obviously in the last 25 years, but I think for the day to day, working with creatives has been sort of the mantra, is what's got me excited. And so I think that is something that needs to happen moving forward. There's sort of like also teaching is important, right? It's always been something, whether I've mentored or been menteed. I'm a big believer of this notion of sharing, information, experiences is really important. Um, Art Center obviously being an amazing experience. After Art Center, because of graduating after 9/11, I had the opportunity literally within a year or 2 years after school to teach, right, at San Diego State, at the Art Institute of San Diego. And even though that was early in my design career, Art Center gave me all the sort of the skill sets to teach at a university, right? And at a trade school, art institute. But so I know that teaching is an important thing. And as I look back at 25 years of working, I was still teaching, right? I was teaching younger designers. I was teaching business leaders about what design is and the importance of design, right? I didn't know about that. I didn't know of that when I first started working in the space. But if you think about our role as designers in a big institution and with clients, we are teachers of design, right? We are teaching businesses like the direction in regards to their creative, what is needed, what's relevant. And so there's this dance between business and creative, right? Which I've realized. And so what excites me, what one of my objectives moving forward is, you know, I think simply, can I, is there an opportunity for me to do this, like to not work um under the umbrella of the man as a big, in a big organization. Question is, is this something that I could continue? Can I survive alone as a individual and tap into my last 25 years of experiences, but work under Jeff Silva, right? With the community, like yourself, with the system, the core, and more, right? I envision this sort of free-flowing person myself where I'm collaborating with people. I'm not worrying about money because I'm doing what I love and the money comes, right? I'm partnering with people I love. Um, I'm having fun. And to me, like what I've learned too, is the importance of fun and play in our work, right? That's a big driver of who I am. One of the things I'm proud of is whether I work for J&J or Amazon or it doesn't matter. One of the compromises I always told myself is I want to make sure I'm bringing my full self to work, right? That and Obviously that how I come to the table shifts, right? Of course, if I'm presenting to a VP or a president, there's a certain cadence, right? But I think for the most part, I've been successful at bringing myself to work with a lot of fun and play. And I think the importance of that is reminders to the design community that you have to continue to bring yourself to work. Not saying that and be authentic to yourself. Sorry, were you gonna say something? Jose, oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Unmute yourself. I want to bring it. I'm trying to ask the question. Okay, this is great. What does this mean in terms of what you want to get out of the 12 weeks,
Okay.
of the program? What is like, what are the biggest fears and what are the things that you want to really like, that you really need in order to feel comfortable,
Yeah.
basically taking this leap, because it's a huge leap, just to be clear.
It is a huge leap, and I think like the concern is sort of I like the stability, right? I mean I've worked for big companies for the last 25 years. I love that stability of the cadence and the paycheck and etc. Right? And I like to travel. I love, the all of that, everything a tourist loves, right? To nice clothes and going out to dinners, etc. So, but I'm willing to forego that for the short term for a longer term, sort
What if
of.
you didn't have to? What would you say would be like the thing that would be required for you to feel comfortable? Like you didn't have to forego all those things, that you can do what you love,
Yeah,
and still generate, But of course, I know that's a question and it's an open
yeah.
question. So would it be true to say that you, as an objective from this process, you would like to know what being my full self looks like in a system that replicates the stability of a, big
Yeah.
company job. Basically, consistent revenue uh, coming in,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and we can reword that, but I love this notion of like, I want to work solopreneurship, I want to work alone. I want to work with my, um, sort of
Let's
my
give it a
community,
name. Co-creative preneurship.
co-creative entrepreneurship, co-creative entrepreneurship. Yeah, I love it.
It's a very ugly word, very not very, it's
Yeah.
not smooth, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I
co-preneur.
I like the idea of giving a name and we could refine that, but I love the idea of being able to like go to a cafe every morning to like just write for an hour, right? To work out, and to travel to sort of inspire not my only myself but others. Um, but I think in regard to these 12 weeks and the my core, it's how do you solidify it, right? I've thought about these things. I've it's not new, but I think where with this sort of a platform and framework with my core, I think being able to put it down into a framework that makes it more real and tangible, and maybe give me some accountability, right, to this. And I obviously I the things that I've thought about in the past, right? Like I've worked with a lot of goal setting and brand redesigns with companies, right? And framework. So how do I do that for myself is what I've is sort of the goal too, right? How do I brand myself? And I've thought about branding myself a million times, but I just always had work as the priority and not me. So I feel like now is the time. Like I have the time, right? And I have sort of a 4, 5 months of sort of um liberty to do
Space.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So uh,
I had to space out. Let's get a little bit into just, I'm going to push a little further down
yep,
into objectives relative to um, your personal kind of growth.
yep,
Because, we have work, and obviously work is one of we spend 90%, 80 to 90% of our time
yep.
dedicated to that. You've spent in the last 25 years. Uh, and as a fellow tourist, like, vacation sometimes means like, oh, we're going somewhere nice, but we're bringing the laptops and working on whatever it is it might be. So tell me about health, tell me about relationships, spirituality, self, money. What are there in those areas? Are there any other things that you want for yourself?
Hmm. I'll say, yeah. I mean, I think for me, um, I think people are relationship like I think this sort of process is good because I am spending time on me, like and setting sort of the space to think about the trajectory of where I want to go, what I want to do, right? Um, for the next 2 years, if not for most of the next chapter of my life. I think people are important, community is important. I've realized that even since getting laid off, like you know, connecting with my friends and leaving and going to Panama City and meeting new people like Mare and your community out in Panama City has been great. Like it's so important to meet and have space and create space with other designers and creatives, right? And I think that has been important. Just being selfish with that. I think, and I use selfish in a positive way, just making time for myself because I feel like I haven't necessarily given myself that space, right? Because I've given it to others. And I think that's it, right? Like giving has been one of my core love languages. It's also what maybe stops me from loving myself because I give so much to others, if that makes sense. Um, so I think having this time to really think about me is important, right? And then I feel like by doing that, by activating the space, doing this my core, the presentation, presenting like a pro, these things just to me feel right. And I want to continue doing things that sort of feel right in the moment and not too planned. I'm a great planner. I've planned a lot. And one of the things I've realized with the work with Joe was that like planning I planned so much that I forgot to live in today, right? Like I've always thought about the 1 year, 5 year plan that it takes out of a lot of the living of today, right? So I think my goal personally is just to continue to live in today, but I think with my core and to me, personal and professional are very, I don't know, it's tricky. I think that's something I'm gonna fill out because I still love what I do. I love designing. I love creating. I love working in design environments with people. So it's always been a struggle. Like as creatives, I think we're blessed because sometimes our professional work is so connected to our personal work, right? And that's a great thing, but I think it's a fine line because how do you distinct how do you like sometimes we get lost in our own work, I guess is the
You're
way
lost in the sauce. Who is Jeff without work?
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And I try to bring so much of who I am to work, right? The fun, the play, the divergent thinking, the sort of craziness, right? So sometimes in some words it's like work is me because I try, you know, you have a lot of friends. We all have friends where like work life and personal life are different. I like to sort of look at it as one. Like I know there's differences in personal and work life, but professional life. But I try to be intentional about like when I'm at work, like you're getting Jeff. You're getting my full Jeff.
yeah, and that's super important, I think, as a whole. But I
Yeah.
think what we're getting to is kind of creating those categories and creating some clear delineations just for the sole purpose of having them.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that you can merge them, right? You can actually do something that's very personal to you, and that's
Yeah.
what I kind of do. And I think that there's this big for us as creators who are super tangible and tactical
Yeah.
in creating something, a form.
Yeah.
Uh, I think we're in a space where we can begin automating and creating through co-creation and also through co-creation with, you know, basically technology. We can begin creating ways of generating revenue in an efficient way that all feeds from the essence of who we are. And that's a really interesting conversation. But let's process this
Okay.
quick. And I can already like I can do a processing just for the sake of the objective really is to define is to define myself in a way that I can build a clear roadmap for my future, uh, being able to integrate myself uh, and what I do into I like to call it a sustainable
Mm.
system that generates more and more as I build it. And that's kind of abstract, but then I'm going to put all this into I need an objective for, I need an objective for the next 12 for the core, this my core process for the 12 weeks. Here is what we have so far. I'm gonna grab this. How does this resonate? What I just said, early thing that I said, to defining yourself as your identity, just like we do with clients, it's kind of like the first step. Like in order to do it, if you remember at EO, I put up a poster in the brand studio that said, in order to change anything, first you got to define it. You got to figure out what it is that you're working with. It's like the clay. Let's put all this in it. Give me a few options. Give me 3 options. I'm just gonna let it do that without a lot of this chat. No, this is not chat. This is Claude. Also has other my core sessions or completed workbooks in it. Be before build. In 12 weeks, I will define who Jeff Silva is, fully integrated professionally and personally, and translate that identity into a sustainable system where co-creative work, teaching, and human connection generate consistent revenues on my terms. I mean, that's not bad. Build while being, the leap objective. This is the identity first objective. In 12 weeks, I will take the leap from employee to co-creative entrepreneur by packaging 25 years of experience into clear brand, offer, and roadmap, so that being fully myself becomes the engine that creates financial stability, meaningful work, and an integrated life. Wow. And it's already integrating your human design. He needs to feel right before he acts right. B, risk him building before the clarity is there. Okay, A is B before building.
Yeah, they're both
good.
Yeah.
I think,
more, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, A's, they're both great. A's a little bit more philosophical, right? I guess. B is like really clear. I feel like it's clearer, but I like them both. Well, translate identity to sustainable, where co-creative teaching and human connection generate.
Well, let's put them both in.
Yeah,
what the fuck? Yeah, that's a warning on the box for my core. Some foul language will ensue. And then let's try to get some results out of it. So result 1, I'm gonna say, okay, give me. So here's the thing. Let's first define the results together. Yeah. I'm not gonna give it to AI because then there's not enough ownership there. Talk to me about some results. Let's just brainstorm results.
Yeah. I mean, I first of all, like I'm working for myself, right? 100%, like with and across, different roles or whatnot, but like I think that's it, right? Like fully integrated into solo, like working. I don't know what the word is there, but like,
call it creator, fully integrated creator.
Yeah, fully integrated creator.
So is that a result?
I'm sorry?
Is that a result? Be a fully integrated creator?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's like because that gives me a step from like working for like a company to working for myself.
Okay, so that let's make that one a second one.
It could be a second one, yeah.
A roadmap for working for self.
Yeah.
That's a little less abstract than be a fully integrated creator, even though that's really clear. Give me 2, like let's call it friends, family, love. Let's concentrate it around the relationship and love area, and the last 2 around community and love.
Yeah, I think building community, like working with working with people in my community today that I built, right? Yourself, people in the past, but also building a community, if that makes sense, like meeting new people as well. And I think I don't know if I mentioned this, but I also feel like, because in the last 25 years I've been working so consistently for organizations, I also feel like I'm not being creative, right? It's like I need to feel creative. I think people bring me there, but also I want to feel creative and I know that's not the family friend thing, but like there's something about like I just I'm drowning in sort of this sort of like I need to feel creative and I don't feel like I haven't been creative
You know
recently.
what? What I would just popped into my mind,
Yep.
uh, aside from like uh, well, what popped into my mind was this idea that if you've been in corporate for so long, how do you express a lot of that creatively? Part of it is, and part of my mission that I've been doing for many years is that the things that I learn inside whatever environment I'm in, whether it be startups or agency environment. Now I've worked actually in I won't call it corporate. I'll call it let's call it more in larger organizations. Uh, I don't think neither consensus nor EO qualify for corporate. I haven't really truly worked in a place like Johnson and Johnson, but I learned a lot from you. And by bringing you into projects, understand the systems and the things. What I think a flip of all that is, script wise, is uh, uh, making light of it. And I've always had this fantasy of doing a show where it was an art show about corporate systems and in a
Uh,
kind of mockumentary kind of way, but also in an artistic way. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, and you know how Sol DeWitt would do a painting where it was just a piece of paper describing the painting,
Yeah.
right? That you
Love
do like
that.
an SOP and you blow it up really big and you silk screen it, and that's it. And people walk in and they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's like, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
sarcastic. But somebody
Yeah.
who did that was Basquiat. He took, systems and mixed them up in his paintings
Yeah.
uh, from these books his mom gave him. But I think that's funny. It might not be, I'm just throwing out crazy shit, but
Yeah. No. No.
we
I
have
like it.
creativity from where we come.
I
That's
get
the
it.
round. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm complete. Okay. So let's look at what we have. Be a fully integrated creator, roadmap for working for self, start building community tangibly, creative extraction. That sounds horrible. Creative expression.
Creative expression. Feel
Feel
creative through.
creative
Yeah.
through my past experiences, but create new ones. What is an experience? Let's just brainstorm real quick. Creative experiences that you haven't had, that you feel you haven't had yet, and that you would like to have. Like it's just a bucket list. Like
Yeah. Yeah. So like,
travel
oh,
Latin America.
I mean, so like, yeah, continue to travel. I mean, creative also like, I think fashion's big, right? Like doing some stuff in fashion. Also, curation, like experiences are great. Like, you know, curating events and experiences. I think that's something fun and exciting. Like, you know, experiences, events, um, things with people, right? I think are important. Uh,
Dinner, workshops,
yeah, work sessions. I
jam
love
sessions.
design jam sessions,
Uh,
brainstorming sessions. Like, I think those are things where I excel at. Like, just the culture, bringing like, how do you like even with Io, my friend Io, like we're always talking about restaurants and bars and cafes. Like, how do you? I think we even with the core stuff, like we talked about this sort
Opening
of
a bar, yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that global village idea, right? Like having spaces all over the world that, you know, a collective, right? And how do we design that so it feels a need, right? And also relevancy, right? People need and want sort of physical space, physicality and analog. Analog is high fidelity and analog are huge. That's only going to become bigger. So like how do we would love to be part of something like that,
You
right? How do we
already invest in real estate. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna put invest in front of physical
yeah,
space because you could kind of curate and do the continuation of your investment experience
yeah,
and then collectively do it with others. I already connected you into a group that I created for the two people that I know are already doing real estate investing. I love that. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna very quickly do an assessment of what we put together.
okay.
And here's the funny thing, I will do it again with
Yeah,
the recording of this
Okay.
But we will keep, I'll just put any variance, I'll just note it with you next week.
Okay.
But we will try to keep and fine tune this as we go along. This
Yeah.
starts as like a North Star, as a guide, right? You know,
Yeah.
what we want to do. But I'm gonna add this here. And then can you analyze this and tell us how good this is as an objective for Jeff's my core, and also see if you can incorporate these creative expression. I'm not going to prompt it too much. I'm just going to
Yeah.
just boom, go for it, see what happens. Analysis first. Both objectives capture the integration theme well. Results 1 and 4 are clear and sequential. Language is honest and personal. What's missing? No sense of place or embodiment. Jeff is physical, sensory, IRL person. Consistent revenue feels corporate, not Jeff's voice. Well, okay. What do we mean by consistent revenue, and where the heck did I put that?
I
Oh,
think you put that in. That's a
okay.
part of goal, right? Like going to myself. Yeah. Sustainable. Where I made like that was a big goal, like objective, right? Where I'm be able to survive, like not working for for a company.
Sustainable. How about sustainable wealth?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Because I think the difference between revenue and wealth is that something that accumulates. I've always focused, as the Taurus I am, on like making money, and I'm good at selling and capturing value, but I'm not great at retaining and like maintaining
Yeah.
value. And part of it is actually a lesson plan that both you and I, since we're both children of the diaspora, you know, the
But
Philippines, Puerto Rico, there is a patriarch, a father wound in both the Philippines and in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, any colony, right? But especially the ones that belong to the U.S. for a long time, because Big Daddy, you know, the U.S. Either went away. In the case scenario, the Philippines is still there. In the case of Puerto Rico, but there is a very tangible body of research around the role of the father and long-term wealth generation, and transitioning to, at this stage, post your 50s, which, you know, I'm 53 now, how to create that long-term arc and narrative beyond work. So I love that feedback, and I just got that out of it. Upgrade objective, single option. In 12 weeks, I will step fully into Jeff Silva, a globally minded creative director, teacher, and connector, and build the foundation of a co-creative life where my 25 years of experience, my love of people,
love that.
culture, food, and expression become a system that
I
funds
love that.
itself from
Love
Latin
that.
America to wherever the work
I love
calls.
that. I
Oh,
love
shit
that.
balls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
it
I love
dropped the
that.
bass.
Yeah.
It dropped the bass. Oh, and then it integrated the results. So you know what? I'm gonna actually get rid of this
Love
template.
that.
Well, actually, I'm just
Thank
gonna put it in one at a time. We have the time. That's the other kind of thing about the hour and a half
I
session.
love that.
Read it for me while I'm typing here.
In,
Reading always
in
helps.
12 weeks? In 12 or which one? Oh, fully integrated? Oh, which
I'll blow it up for you so you can see it.
in 12 weeks, I will step fully into Jeff Silva, a globally minded creative director, teacher, and connector, and build a foundation of a co-creative life where my 25 years of experience, my love of people, culture, food, and expression become a system that funds itself from Latin America to wherever the world calls me. I love that. That's aspirational and exciting, and it excites me. Philippines, obviously, Latin America, the Philippines, to where, yeah. But and I love that because I love the connector, like you're like obviously like yourself, like we're very good at connecting people, right? And that's such a innate part of me as well, right? Um, even at a corporation, but in real life, I love to meet people, connect with people. The globally minded is important, right? I love not just being part of a certain place, right? So that's important. Teacher, designer, yeah, creative director. I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
It got granular on the goals. and it actually reordered them to creative expression roadmap. It brought it from 4, it brought it up to 2, which is interesting because that's kind of like what you were asking and giving me feedback earlier, a few weeks ago on how to create, how to evolve core
Yeah.
for people, identify the first 20 people in Jeff's collective. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What is
And
that? Oh,
it got
identify.
KPI. Identify the community architecture,
Oh,
identify the
cool.
20 people in Jeff's collective, design what gatherings with them look like, physical, repeatable, and fundable. Damn. The living system, a model where Jeff travels, creates. Here, let me type it in.
Oh, I love
Uh,
that.
and then I'm going to read it again. This is result 4.
Exciting. Oh, wow.
It honestly got a lot more tangible than what it's not as fluffy. So
Yeah.
I like that. And at the same time, I get that little like, oh shit.
I like exactly. I like tangible, but I think as you can see with my response, like that feels aspirational, but and then these results are a little more tangible, right? Like, um, which is yeah, we can cut it anyway. I think tangible is good, but
Well,
exciting.
what's interesting is that I asked for feedback, right? And it's giving feedback. And usually I'll add the prompt, you're, expert corporate, not corporate, let me stop using that word, code. And then I didn't even have to say that, and it already went like, okay. But I love that interaction with AI
Yeah,
because it does synthesis, but I also like to make sure that I'm actually manually doing it myself and
yeah,
not just depending, uh, so that it's basically the root is there and understandable
yeah,
from the work in the conversation, and then the results of what comes out doesn't feel not only as a leap, but that we can own it. Because in co-creation or in alignment, the issue becomes that whoever the stakeholder is that makes the recommendations needs to be involved. In this case, Claude is involved, and it is a clear stakeholder, and we're going to be
yeah.
building a lot with it. We're already doing it, so I'm okay with that. But some
It's
people might not be comfortable. But
yeah,
all right,
it's the one way you could frame it for core is like 0 to 1 and then 1 to many, right? That's what we're doing 0 to 1 right now.
yeah. And what I like to do is highlight like key beats and key things. Uh, you
Nice.
know, people, culture, food, and expression, right?
Not a
Become
brand, it's a world.
it's a world. America, Philippines. It's not a brand, it's a world. So it's world building. The objective should feel like that. Okay, there we go. Cutting that
Right.
out, and I'm gonna reread it. Objective, in 12 weeks, I will step fully into Jeff Silva, a globally minded creative director, teacher, and connector, and build the foundation of a co-creative life where my 25 years of experience, my love of people,
Mm. Mm.
culture, and expression become the system that funds itself from Latin America to the Philippines and to wherever the work calls me. Bottom line, it's not a brand, it's a world. It's
Wait,
not.
yeah, what is that? And so that bottom, I like that objective, but when bottom line, when it says it's not a brand, it's a word. I guess that
I think that what it's saying, which kind of maps to my ideas, that you feel, defining your personal brand and who you are objectively helps kind of direct the line of who you become.
okay.
But it's really tailored at solopreneurs or creating, courses and like, these solo endeavors. You and I both are not that guy. We cannot do it alone. And it's not because we don't have the capability to do it. It's because our human design is actually very geared towards, tribal, towards
Yeah,
co-creation. So from personal brand to world building, it's kind of like a transition of the mindset of like, oh, I got to build,
yeah,
personal brand so I can create this. It's no, you got to create how you contextualize yourself inside a
okay.
world that you create around you, the first 20 people, the
Yep,
culture, the workshops, the dinners, whatever the things are
yep.
that create that.
Love
Uh,
that.
and it's a little bit different and a little bit mm, I think that the way that maybe it begins to drive my core as a process is towards, and it's always been that, but now it's becoming a lot more clear that it's
Yep.
not personal branding. It's actually world building
Yes.
in a collective way. We're building together, right? So
Yeah.
because I'm participating in this,
Love
you're
that.
going to present this to the community. We might bring in some guests to the process of coaching.
Yes.
So that's going to be fun.
I love that a lot better. Yeah. It's not a brand, it's a world send off, but I like where the build on it from personal brand to world building. That makes a lot that feels more connected.
And that's also
And
super fun because, what's the Jeff world look like in fashion, in the people, like you have your group of friends, you're going to create like this
yeah.
show, like Sex in the City with dudes, right?
Yes.
Like there's this whole, it is a world. Jeff lives in a world.
Yeah.
Bed-Stuy, what does that look like? It's super awesome. Amazing. All right, I'm
Love
gonna
it.
read now the results. So result one is a fully integrated creator. Define Jeff on his own terms, where the person and the professional are the same thing. It's interesting. Uh, Read that for me and tell me how it feels.
Ooh, define Jeff on his own terms, where the person and the professional are the same thing. A fully integrated creator. Um, I like the define as own terms because that's like it's coming from me, not external. I feel like that's what I've been doing before. Like I've struggled with. Where the person and the professional.
It's
I
fitting
don't
that
mind
your profession is going to be being Jeff.
exactly. So I mean, do you see that as a flag, a red flag, or no?
No, 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 no.
Yeah. Oh,
Two things. One, that's the purpose of what we're doing. Two, I'm not going to pull it up, but if you actually see my
yeah,
core is actually about integration, collapsing who I
yeah,
pretend to be at work with who I am really. And that's very, very, for me, it's been, I don't want to, you know what? I won't say brutal or
yeah,
excruciating. I'm going to say it's been a process, and I'm very grateful to be part of it, to be in it. But yeah, again, it's not pain. It's 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 um it's growth. Let's call it that.
yeah.
All right,
I like it.
read the second one.
Creative expression roadmap. Result number two: map the vehicles, workshops, dinners, jam sessions, curated experiences into a calendar and offer structure. Cool. Yeah.
Damn, that's I like it. I'm feeling challenged, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like challenges. Look, this whole thing's a challenge, and I wrote about this morning. That's what I like about it. The sort of, the script, the presentation, like a pro. Like it doesn't sound. It sounds it's challenging, but I'm excited. It doesn't sound like not feasible, right? But
No,
it's
no, no,
challenging.
no.
Love it.
When I say challenge, I say it's good.
Yeah,
I'm being silly, and maybe I'm gonna internalize it like this. This is what is and what the way is. This is the way. Because you've been
yeah,
saying it, I've been knowing that I need it. So this calendar aspect and offer structure, I know that I'm reacting to it because I'm working on it right now with
yeah.
my
Yeah.
keep my shit tighter.
I'm
And
yeah. I like structure, as you know.
every session ties to, and every other co-creator, because I don't like to say client because we're really sitting here to co-create, but anyway, read number three.
Result number three, community architecture. Identifying that the first 20 people in Jeff's collective design what gathering with them looks like physical, repeatable, and fundable. Yeah, that's great.
And the
Love it.
final one.
The living system, a model where Jeff travels, creates, teaches, and hosts, and the revenue follows the life. Not, I love that. Not the other way. Oh, love that. Love that.
I love that.
Love,
That's the living system
I
really.
love that. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
All right, so that kind of lands us.
Love
I
it.
feel good about this objective setup and
Yeah,
setting,
me too.
and then tracking to these four results that we need to produce. We're going to come back to them frequently.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
and
bottom line, should we just should we just keep from personal brand to world building? Like delete, it's a brand, not a world.
I like that because it's more of a transition,
Yeah,
not a.
that transitions nicely to everything else. So yeah, I love that. Oh, yeah, I think that's great. This is amazing. So good.
This brings us to me and you get excited and we want to start working on it right away and go, let's go to next module two. So
Ah,
next week, so next steps, which this always reminds me, it's going to be a better picture of you. We'll do the prep maybe on our Thursday session so
okay,
that if
okay,
you're ready, I'll work on it.
cool.
I also want to record the prep so that
Okay,
it's documented. Okay, so that's next week. It's going to be fun because going to be learning in context from human design and from the
have
Fido.
fun.
I got to send you the Fido.
Yep,
And then that's next week. And then the last ritual here.
yep.
Actually, I already know you're a generator.
Oh, what is it?
Uh,
Generator? Oh yeah,
well, this is blank because
generator. Yeah. Cool.
it's for whoever's here. So I'll model. Oh wait, no. We're going to the upload. Jose, I am obnoxious, flaky. Um, the upload to the universe. You know, what I got out of this session, first of all, it's so much fun to do this, co-create this with you. And I'm grateful, so thank you. Second, like being like feeling that little bit of pressure from the very like clear objectives. That was very telling and interesting, and we're in it. But the lesson really for me is to feel comfortable in it and to I call it like to marinate in it and let that be okay, and not feel like forced or pressured, but then really reach out and say, okay, let's do this together in our next, so that we're ready for the Monday session. This anchoring into community-based creation, co-creation, that we're already kind of enacting behind the scenes, and that the my core process is part of it. I believe it's a weaving of community and it's a weaving of knowing each other's kind of objectives and what we want to create and who we are. And the most powerful thing is also learning the separation between, my own objectives and your objectives, and know that if we reach them together and collectively, because that's how we are, it really builds, let's say, I don't know, it's a deeper foundation. It's a lot faster to go by yourself because you can just make decisions and go bam, 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 bam. But for me, it's always been about not like you said it yourself, right? That you're always uh, uh, the word you said was giving, right?
Yep.
And I'm the same, and I don't think that's there's a judgment that comes from who that we are in that way, but I think that we have to start. I have to start speaking in Gestalt. I have to start letting go of that judgment and saying, no, that's actually a superpower.
Mm,
It's as once you collectively understand that I'm here to give and to
yep.
serve you, and you're here to serve me, and we're here to serve each other, and that becomes the game. We're lifting like the community collectively instead of saying, well, I need to take care of my own stuff, which we do, right? Because I always hear the opposite or not. But here we are taking care of our own stuff.
Yep.
What you're dealing with, I'm dealing with, and separately we have to do that. But we can also push each other collectively, and accountability is
Yes.
one of the things that's part of that. So what I got out of this, I walk away with momentum. That's why we scheduled this today on this first day of the week. I walk away with inspiration. I walk away with not feeling alone, feeling like we're in this.
Mm.
So that is my upload.
Okay.
I'm complete.
Thank you. Um, my name, Jeff Silva. I don't know my Fido. I'll get that later, right? So, first of all, I like the little kitty image here and the little animation. Cats always make me happy. Mm, yeah, I think takeaway. I think this was an amazing session. So thank you, first of all, Jose. I think where we landed, objective and results, um, is something where I'm really excited and I think that a lot of these last, maybe my whole life, um, we talk about the head and the heart. I think I'm in the head a lot. Ooh, and we're always in our head. So our lives are a manifestation of how we mentally envision it, right? And I think I've looked at my life as someone that works in a design field, um, is thriving, is contributing, is giving, but is working for a company, right? I think this last month, the last 2 weeks, and today has been a nice build where I could see myself not doing that and working within the community, working um, from the inside out, not the outside in, right? And so I think that that's a huge takeaway. I know I'm not 100% there, but as I reflect on it every morning, this first session has been great, and the results again, the objectives and the results from today sound right. I think obviously as we continue this session, there could be tweaks, but I feel good about it. Um, but I think most importantly, I think where my head's at is I can already see the difference. I think most importantly, one of the things that I'm feeling now, it's like how how can I continue being less in my head and more in my heart, right? So a lot of the input from today, where the objectives and results led, were kind of speaking from the heart, right? Not the head. And so that's what I'm excited about, to live a life that is to that point is just I'm being me, right? And I'm not being limited to one company, one brand, but this sort of expression of the world, right? And yeah, and my community, and I think it's led to this and to going to Panama and Colombia, and what excites me more, even more, is that more doing more of that, right? And how to build upon the system and the core, and um I see it, right? If that makes sense. And I'm excited about it. So thank you for the session. Um, and for
Thank you.
setting up the meeting, right? I think cadence is important, right? So Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday. Yeah, super important.
I draw it like that. Monday, then dips on Wednesday,
Yeah,
Thursday. But
yeah,
it strings the week together, and it's really
exactly,
it's a great way of doing it. This is
exactly.
amazing balls, amazing. I'm gonna stop the share,
Awesome.
and that's it, brother. I will see you online, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah, cool, cool, cool. Thank you so much. All right, ciao.